Well, hello, you fellow gods and goddesses. How is everyone on this most auspicious Sunday? Hi, everybody. Is everybody awake? Has everybody had their first cup of coffee? This is my second cup of coffee. How are my beautiful fellow spirits? Is everybody good? Hi, Pogo Code. Thank you for being a member. Hi, Shar. Thank you for being a member. Hi, Karen W. Life is a mindset. I really like the name of your channel, Life is a Mindset, Lorraine. Isn't that a great name? Well, how is everybody? We're going to take a few minutes to just hang while people find the stream. So people said, you say hi for too long at the beginning. Well, this is a live chat. And people get frustrated if we start too early because it sometimes takes them a moment to find the chat. So we say hi to people. I got something in my left eye. And you can just scoot ahead 5-10 minutes if you don't want to watch it. But, you know, I got to get some love back. I give love and I got to get love. Oh, Terry Somi. Soma is here. For those of you who don't know, Tara Soma is licensed. She is trained to teach heart-centered remote viewing, and she also is available to teach internationally. So if you have a conference, I think she can do the 10 hours in a weekend. She can do a weekend course. Or if you are on ashram or some other healing community and you would like to bring heart-centered remote viewing teaching certification, she has developed her own teaching manual. Please reach out to Terry Soma if you are interested in having the course brought to your community. Of course, you'll have to pay for her plane ticket, etc. But you guys can work that out. I really want to see her fulfilling her karma. I had a vision when she came to class. She didn't know this, but I saw her. Maybe I did tell her. I had a vision of her standing at I think one of the largest healing conferences is in Netherlands. Is it Amsterdam? But I saw her speaking in the main hall at with teaching HCRV, and I thought, ooh, Terry's got some amazing karma with I didn't tell her. Or maybe I did, but then she wound up being one of the first in class to get certification. Yeah, so please, I don't know, Terry, is there any way if people are trying to hire you to get a course started with, can you just give your email information? I'm sorry, I've got a hair in my, I'm being very emotional about one of my first children graduating. All right, so I think we're just about ready to get started. Yeah, that worked. If you haven't had a chance to do so yet, be sure and share, like, subscribe. If you become a member, you will incur excellent karma. I'm sure of it. I also want to say we only have one rule here at the Sunday brunch, and that is to be kind. We just be kind to each other and be tolerant. Even if you have a Republican, there are a few former Trump voters that come in here. Please, no insulting people, because we do get people that used to. So we just want to be open to everybody. This is a brunch and it extends for the whole planet. So anybody who wants to join us for lunch, I am here in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon, one of the best towns anywhere. Please be sure to tell us where you are having your brunch. What are you eating? Are you in a restaurant? Are you at home? What state? What location? we extend our invitation to you. Be sure and virtually turn to the left, turn to the right, and give greetings and a hello to fellow passengers here. And like I said, if you feel comfortable, if you have an email that you don't mind giving out, if you'd like to continue the friendships or Facebook page, so that people can message you. Absolutely. We've been able to bring a lot of really amazing people together, a lot of amazing healers as well. And like I said, Terry Soma is available both in the United States and international to tour. It's really her mission in life to bring HCRV to the world. So Terry, please give us your email. We need to get you out working. Okay, so the other thing I want to make a quick announcement about is that this is a charity get together for those of us who like raising funds for charities. And once a year, we choose a month to raise money for Planned Parenthood. And we usually pick the month of September. So this September is the month we are picking for our annual fundraiser for Planned Parenthood. Now, more important than ever, that women receive safe and affordable healthcare options, etc. So, as is our way, once a year we dedicate a full month to Planned Parenthood. And so that is, last year we dedicated it to the governor of Texas, and people got very upset. Even though the governor of Texas, Gray Davis, he received a letter of thank you from you guys. But a lot of people didn't want to donate, even if it was going to him. So that's that. Well, let's turn around and say hi to some people here. We've got Pam CH. She's coming in from California. Very nice. Hi, Jeffrey. I think we had a good hello to you. Pierre Walker is here helping out. Much appreciation. Chris Crowdis, hello, and thank you for being a member. It's much appreciated. Lily D is in the house. Lynn Raymond, hello. Angela Bruce, light and love right back at you. Geocosmic Valentine, also a trained remote viewer, one of the most modest remote viewers I know. She's also a brilliant astrologer if you'd like to check out her channel. Hi, Donald Ampert. Good to see you. Lynn Redwood is in the house. We've got Karen Bard here from Sweden. Excellent. Oh, Jeffrey's in San Clemente, California. It's hot. Yeah, I've heard. Hi, Gigi Pardo Lord. Thank you for being a member, and thank you for those beautiful, beautiful pictures. Ooh, Sam Nomad has donated $21 to Planned Parenthood. Much appreciation. All right. Is everybody ready for some remote views? Dun, da, da, da. We've done our 10 minutes of greeting, getting everybody aware of the rules. We have also announced who we're raising charity for. Okay, we got all of our announcements out of the way. Usually takes us about 10 minutes. Ooh, April Robin from Southern California. Hello. Well, I always have a green smoothie, something like that for my breakfast. I don't know what you all are having, but there are different ways to make it's just too heavy to chew on food in the morning, but I got to, you have that empty kind of icky feeling. And so for brunch, what I do is I'll make a smoothie. But there are some really cool smoothies. Have you all heard about this dry peanut butter powder? Y'all heard about this? Dry peanut butter powder. So it's the peanut butter, so you get the protein, but they've removed the oil. So I think I want to pick some up. But you can get like a peanut butter shake. You can make a peanut butter shake with some, pea protein or something like that. And they say you can extend your life if you do one vegan meal a day. You don't have to be vegan, but if you can do one based meal a day, you can add a few years to your life. Everybody can do that, right? One whole foods plant-based meal a day. So usually it's breakfast. And I usually have, um, yeah, just like a smoothie with, I do Protein and Greens by Paradise because it has 24 servings of fruits and veggies. And then I might throw in, some walnuts or something like that. But I'm thinking of getting that protein powder. Yeah. All right, so let's start with the first remote. This, believe it or not, got some of the biggest response we've had in quite some while, and I think we should talk about that. And that has to do with the speech that was given recently by Kim Jo-jong, is that her name? Where she was crying hysterically and had to make an announcement that Kim Jong-un had in fact had COVID. All right, so let's go back. So it has now been officially announced that he had COVID, but they haven't told us, is he over it? Did he recover? I don't understand the whole dynamics of what's going on, but what has basically gone on is that excuse me, Kim Jong-un's sister has basically said that her brother had COVID and she's blaming the West. What do you think about that? Like, my first thought is, we know that Russia is building up in Ukraine. We know that they're hiring fighters from Central Asia and North Korea. Do you think, if Kim Jong-un is dead, that his death will be weaponized in order to get people to attack the West? Why is she talking about this now? The reason I say that is because when we did a remote view, it was over a year ago. And again, I thought I was crazy. It's just Whimsy being whimsical. I did a remote, and in the remote, I wound up in a lucid dream. And in the lucid dream, I wound up in a state-of-the-art hospital in the northern east portion of North Korea on the water. It looked like a French Riviera, and it was very exclusive, and it was only for the most elite, important people that were part of the inner circle of North Korea. And what I found when I got into the state-of-the-art hospital is that it was practically empty, and it was a separate hospital for the most important elite of North Korea. And as Kim Jong-un, I remembered walking into the hospital and that my heart was racing very, very quickly, and I was having shortness of breath on the right side. And I remembered being very frightened. Then I put myself in the shoes of the nurse who was there when he came in, and I heard myself say, I don't know why his vitals crashed so quickly. He walked himself in here. So it had sliding glass, wide. It opened like this. There was an entourage of people around Kim Jong-un. He walked through. He was nervous and agitated. They brought him a wheelchair. And then his vitals crashed immediately. The second remote view of Kim Jong-un I was in his actual hospital bed. He appeared bloated. His face was swollen. He had been intubated. It looked like he had undergone some kind of heart surgery, so maybe the virus had gotten to the heart. His face was swollen, and I assumed that a virus had gotten into the kidneys. It looked like they were administering dialysis because of advanced kidney failure. And the conclusion I had from that remote was that he was probably on death's door. He didn't look too good. So I documented it. So my question to you guys is, some of you are remote viewers, some of you are trained remote viewers. I just want to throw it out of the floor. Do you think this guy's alive? Do you think that they're just now breaking it? I mean, I don't know. I think we should throw on it. But that was my last vision of Kim Jong-un. So these guys that are parading around, that's not him. It just doesn't feel like him. So I think we should throw on it. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. And I just thought it was curious, the timing that she would choose to meet to discuss it right now, right at the point where North Korea is sending troops to Ukraine. So are we looking at them trying to justify World War III or their involvement with the West? Well, we're doing this because our glorious leader has died. He died of COVID. We're going to have a big state funeral and we're going to blame the West, even though the virus came from China. But they're going to blame the West. That's the power of propaganda, right? Yeah, so people are saying that it's like they get flatlined. So I know people asked Linda to go in. She got a flatline. She couldn't get anything. It was dead. Then they asked Cash. Cash got flatline. I got flatline. Did anybody else? Did anybody get anything? I don't think any. So he's probably gone. Crazy, huh? Wow, he didn't have a long. He did not take very good care of himself. Drug addiction was one of the things we found when we did. Terry, did you leave your email so that people can contact you about conference work? I don't know. Sorry to. Yeah. So that's basically. Yeah, I just always want to get other people's opinions, but I got flatline, and I got that eventually what took him out was kidney failure. The infection was that. By the way, he had almost like by the time they let it go, energetically, it almost looks like when somebody's intubated, when somebody's kidneys are shut down, when their heart is, it's almost like necrosis. The body literally starts to decompose. They're breathing, but the tissue starts to decompose because it's not getting adequate nutrition and oxygen. It almost feels to me like they kept this person alive a lot longer than they should have. I don't know if anybody's gone to ICU and seen people that are like trached and they're put in these special facilities and it's just they slowly die. That seems to have been most likely what happened. So Joyce Petrus also got the ventilator. Yeah, so most people got the same thing. Okay, so are we ready to move on to another remote? The thing that was interesting about that remote, and I'll just let it go, is that I felt like it could be weaponized and that this might have been the reason. Like, how long can they keep the act going? At first, it was working great. They had a couple, 2, 3 actors. Look, some of them seem to be relatives of his that are going along with it because they think it's good for Korea. But they can only keep this act of they're prepping to tell the Korean people. I think it's kind of like, grandma's on the roof and we can't get her down. It's like the cat's on the roof and you don't want to tell someone that their grandmother's dead or their cat is dead. Well, the cat's on the roof and we can't get it down. You don't want to, you got to break it to somebody slowly. Well, the cat's dead. Well, grandma's on the roof and we can't get her down. It's kind of like it is with Kim Jong-un. Well, he's not feeling, he wasn't feeling too good on Tuesday. Well, he got a little bit of COVID. It's the fault of South Korea. South Korea did this to us, right? Very funny. All right, the next remote view. Oh my God, that's funny. Um, Also on your channel, you can leave if Terry, if you have all your information on your channel and you're doing demonstrations, etc., that would be another way that people can contact you for conference work. Yeah, Pierre Walker, I think that that's exactly what's going on. They're going to keep creating these fake news updates so that the people will get so angry they will want to declare war on the West for having killed their glorious leader. I think that's exactly what's going on. It's very scary. Okay, so the next thing we're talking about has to do with Donald Trump. So one of the things that has been, good morning, Sandy. Hi. Hi, Joan. So, um, Trump was in Pennsylvania. It's interesting. He was in Pennsylvania at the same time that Biden was in Pennsylvania, right? Did anyone see his speech, parts of his speech? He's declared war on the FBI. He's declared, I mean, everybody is out to get him. He's a victim. He was in Wilkes Barre, Pennsylvania. Hmm. It's weird. You go into the energy of Donald Trump, and what you hear is this whole thing's going to get wrapped up in a couple of weeks. How can things get wrapped up in a couple of weeks? That doesn't even make sense. It just feels like the intelligence agencies want this nightmare under wraps and to disappear as quickly as possible. They can't even try him publicly because it would let everybody in the public know the extent to which he's compromised our security. What are they going to do with the guy? Yes, I can, intrepid viewer. I can try and get some information about the missing documents. The main thing I took away from the missing documents is that they were reports that had been produced from our intelligence agencies. And by reading the report summaries, our foreign adversaries would be able to determine who had compiled them. That's the main takeaway from. So if I am a spy in the field and I've been asked to write a report about what I experience, and then that gets in the hands of Trump and he hands it over to, say, North Korea, China, who also was doing business with him. Saudi Arabia was doing business with him. He had a ton of money he owed Russia. That's public information. Then I'm going to be able to determine, based on this information you just supplied the Chinese, who we suspected in which companies was spying, and now we know based on the material that was supplied to us, which compromises the safety of our intelligence in the field. And some of our field officers have spent years in the field working and developing, and so all of that's now destroyed. So that's the main thing, is it's sabotaging spy work that's gone on for years. Most of it industrial spying in China, companies that do mutual spying in China, patent spying, which has been big money, North Korea, yeah, Russia, Saudi Arabia. Looks like he also went back to his old scam of blackmailing people for money and threatening them, which didn't go well with Macron, because Macron will turn around and then file a police report. But that seems to be what's going on with him. But here's the thing to just sit and think about. I keep getting the same thing. In 2 weeks, they're going to just bury this whole entire story. They didn't want this to become public. They can't even have a jury hear the evidence. I mean, this is an espionage case. So I keep getting the same hit that in a couple of weeks, a huge part of this is going to be wrapped up. They want to wrap it up quickly. Wrap it up and put it back in the box. Give him 4 years house arrest and bury everything. I know it's not what people want to hear. And I know that we feel like, oh my gosh, but how do you eat? What are you going to do? The penalty is death, and we've killed people for less. We've put people to death for less. It's just absolutely insane. All right. So the next question people wanted to know, and then we can go ahead and do some blitzes on it. What do you think about the PM race in Britain? Anybody have any favorites between these two Tories? Is it going to be a boy or a girl? How do you say his name? Rashid Sin, what? How does he pray? Yeah, I think it's going to be the guy. Yeah. He's actually not as bad as she is, which isn't really saying much. All right, so I have a couple of other things we can talk about as well, but we'll go ahead and wait and do some blitzes on it. Would people like to get a collective reading? Would that be fun? Would y'all enjoy that? We can see what the week is going to be like for us. Looks like Zelensky got what he wanted at Zaporizhzhia. They opened it up and they allowed the inspectors in. And it looks like they removed some of the military from the Zaporizhzhia. They downgraded them. So Ukraine hasn't gotten everything that they wanted. But they did get the inspectors in, and they have been able to reduce some of the military presence. So that's been good. All right, let's go ahead now. We're going to do the Empath Prayer. Sound good, you guys? Collective and we'll use the we'll use my senior deck today. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively we say, Amen. Let's go in. Let us see what's going on. And thank you everyone who has made a donation to Planned Parenthood, our fundraiser this month. Hi, Gail. Thanks for coming. All right, where we are at right now, boy, basically the message from Spirit for everybody is that the less strife and conflict you have with others at this time in your life, the better. Also be careful about wasted words. Really start protecting your energies And it's a time to really start asking yourself, do you really want to have this argument with this person? Because the karma card right now for people is the Five of Swords. And so that card will often come in when we are at a point in our lives where we have to ask ourselves, is it worth it? What are you willing? No, Carolyn Pooler, YouTube takes no money out. It's just that they collect the donations and 100% goes directly to Planned Parenthood through our fundraiser. It's just a fundraiser. Yeah, good question. Anyway, so karma card is to walk away from a battle you've already, you just don't want to fight anymore. Also, Five of Pentacles is coming in, which is the base of the matter, which can be to get away from any kind of a situation that drags you down. So a lot of people are just feeling their energy. They're probably feeling like they just don't have a lot of energy to be dealing with other people's stuff. I also feel like a lot of energy of people just having to defend what they have. Seven of Wands. Defending our way of life, our desire to breathe clean air, all the things that we're fighting for that we thought were American values that we're now being told are because we're liberals, right? But the good news is that the situation changes right about now. You can see all this defensive energy that the planet is having, but we have this nice sun energy coming up when the sun is high. So right around this time is when we see major changes coming in. Be careful of gossip at this time also, because gossip is a karmic. When you put it out there, it's like a virus in a community, and it starts to take hold, and there are really horrible consequences when you gossip. So Two of Swords will come in the fourth house when it's be about your business, child. Avoid empty gossip. Avoid fights that don't get you anywhere. Avoid arguing with people that only want to drag you down and waste your time. And don't gossip about them, because it just keeps the cycle churning out. In Hebrew, gossip is called loshan hora. Loshan hora, and that's evil tongue. An evil tongue, and it's this idea that it weaves problems in a community. Two of Swords is a no gossip. It's a no gossip. Fourth house is your higher calling. Just don't want to talk negatively about other people. Energies that are not wasted in gossip and arguing for points that are not going to get you anywhere. All that energy can instead be put towards developing yourself as a person spiritually, intellectually, and financially. And we have ourselves coming out of a point, which is the Hermit. The time of scholarship, the time of the sun, the time of awareness of oneself, being strong in terms of what you want to create for yourself, what your values are. It's a new beginning. It's like me turning 60 in March. Next March, I'll finally hit my 60th birthday, and just being grateful. Just being grateful for the time we've had, but it's like a new beginning for us too. You look at this sixth house, we're coming as strong, independent, not wasting our time with petty stuff, avoiding gossip. It's a new beginning in our lives. Starting around April of 2023, it also looks like many people open themselves up to just new relationships and new opportunities. Also, people are cleaning up their karma very, very rapidly. This is like as soon if you have unfinished business with an ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, now is the time to resolve it. And also, the way to handle anger and violence is to simply not play with it. Nip it in the bud. Over the issue of conflict with others, Four of Swords. Look at this. Lovers from the past. Yeah. A lot of people just putting the past behind them. I think about all the fantasies I had when I was a little kid and all the beliefs I had when I was a little kid that really harmed me. We make decisions when we're little kids when we don't understand how the world works. And it can really mess you up. I had a friend who's, well, I guess he's still my friend. He's a really successful actor, but when he was 5, 6 years old, he would sit in a closet and talk about, I'm never going to do this. He would make all these decisions, and then he would imagine all these terrible things. Well, needless to say, actors are highly imaginative people. So when he grew up, he was convinced, and this is a guy in his 50s and 60s, that the curses and the crazy ideas he had when he was 5 and 6 years old, mad at his mom or dad, was now having an impact on his life. And that's that kind of magical thinking that we have when we're children that can set us up. So part of this reading is also to be aware of any previous ideas you had. Well, this has to be my soulmate, and this is the only one, and maybe that's just an idea you invented when you were young. So this is also a challenge in these cards to look at ideas you assumed were always true and challenge them so that you can be open to new experiences in the future. So that's the reading. Hope it was good. Thank you, Anonymous, for that donation to Planned Parenthood. Thank you, Carolyn Pooler, as well. Much appreciated. So what do you think about all of that? Oh, Carolyn Pooler donated to Planned Parenthood, and it's kind of cool as a birthday to that's nice. That's good karma. Well, whenever we get the order, I guess we will blitz, blitz, blitz away. And if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, gosh, I would really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and even become a member. That would be pretty cool too. And we got Patreon. We get together on Saturdays. We do a live video for members with free readings. On Tuesdays, we teach heart-centered remote viewing live at 5 p.m. if you want to hang with us on Tuesdays. We leave the link in the community page if you're having trouble finding it. Looks like we've been given the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away. And the first question was, could we try and look inside the documents at Mar-a-Lago to figure out what's missing and what is going on? So let's just do it. Let's just call it Documents at Mar-a-Lago. What was in the boxes? Does that sound like a good one? That was our first question, I think, right? What was in the boxes, Dr. Whimsy? I'm excited. I love blitzing away. Anybody eating anything interesting? Show us your plate. Anybody here having French toast? I love French toast. What's your favorite breakfast? What was in the empty folders? I guess we will. Ooh, Geocosmic Valentine is having whole wheat French toast. Ooh, bacon sandwich, toasted pancakes. Damn, Ian. Pizza. I love pizza. I love Marmite. A lot of people don't like Marmite. I eat a lot of Marmite. My ex-husband called it tar. He would make us breakfast and he would put the Marmite on the table and he'd go, here's your tar, honey. All right. Mar-a-Lago. Seafood chowder. Yum, yum. Vegetable biryani. Oh, my God. You guys are getting me hungry. Eggs over easy, hash browns. Hello. Well, first off, I would say that it's the first thing I would say about Donald Trump is that it's already over, because it just always says the same thing. They want to wrap this up as fast as possible. Look at his outcome. This is the outcome of a blitz on Trump. He was betrayed by people close to him. So the first thing they're saying is that the information was exposed. This is the very first thing. So you have the high priestess. Troop movements. They wanted information about troop movements. They wanted information. Some of this has to do with troop movements. And some of this had to do with communications between people in high-ranking positions regarding their decisions about movements of troops in the Middle East, Syria, also foreign policy and economic policies regarding North Korea. They sold some of that. And business dealings and private meetings that had taken place with their competition. So it was a lot of competition meetings. Competition. The argument was that Trump felt he was a spy because America had been mean to these people and they needed this information because they were being screwed over by the Americans. And so it was his job to help them out and supply the information because they depicted themselves as the victims. So you have the exposure. And then Trump's feeling that we got to help these poor Russians. He sees himself as a benefactor. So he perceived of himself as assisting countries that had been subjugated by the United States because the card he uses is the Six of Pentacles. So giving them this aided them because of our policies and how we had harmed them. I think Putin got a lot of stuff. I think he got the nuclear stuff. I think that he was also very, very interested in the money, the contracts, who we were doing business, who we were selling stuff to. You can see here Putin's card in the 8th house, and then you can see the money. So they were also looking at sales of arms, dealings, etc. I do think that part of what happened with Trump was that he just owed a tremendous amount of money and he was in the middle of so much insanity. This is all about spying Two of Pentacles con work in order to, they're watching large sums of money. But I always feel like it's a 4-year period. It's like they wrap it up, they give him 4 years house arrest or something like that. It's almost like they can't give him more than 4 years. Sounds crazy. A term is 4 years, he gets 4 years. You can see here devastation here, but then they try to pull him out of the situation. They want this gone. I think they're just so afraid of his followers and what his followers will do. They want to, I'm telling you, the most likely outcome, wrap this, close this down, shut this up as fast as possible, and make it disappear. That is what the feds want to do. Yeah. Yeah, Water Lily. I think that they do to some extent, but let's go ahead and take a look. It goes back to guys want to talk about the mega yachts? What did Robert Mueller say about the mega yachts? Why did he need them so bad? Why was he itching to get on those yachts? Why, when he showed us the 3 of Wands, he pointed at the yachts and said, I'm going to get on those yachts. I know what you're doing. I'm going to get on your yacht. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get every single computer. I'm going to get every single wire transfer. He talked about it for years. The patience of a saint, Robert Mueller, right? Excellent. Be grateful. They were operating outside the United States. They were operating in international waters. And so the feds couldn't figure out a way legally to get on and confiscate the information. And then they did. They got the boats of a bunch of oligarchs, Putin's people, etc., where they were doing what with registered foreign lobbyists? They were negotiating, and then theoretically, if you had all this data, who would you be giving the data to? You'd be separating it out. You'd be giving it to foreign lobbyists who would then take it where? To mega yachts, etc. And then you could pass, say, you wouldn't have to take a passport, right? And then you would just hand over everything. You could just get on the yachts. What's wrong with that? What's the problem with that? It's a great way to bypass the feds, right? You're not taking it outside the United States through an airport. You're just going on a joyride with your friend from China, right? So that was why they went on the yachts. Okay, so the next question, Wendy Burt wants to know about his relationship with Saudi Arabia. We know Saudi Arabia has had a really tentative relationship with the United States, certainly after 9/11, and selling a weapon, buying weapons from the West, doing things they shouldn't be doing, like what's going on with drones in Yemen. Let's take a look at the future of relationship between Saudi Arabia and the West. Yes, Saudi Arabia took information. They attempted to steal it. They don't want to give it back. And yeah, the prince got it. He stole it. He's denying he stole it. And there's evidence that the Saudis took it. Yeah, you can see here. Stole it. Theft. So bin Salman stole some stuff. Don't you just love the Seven of Swords? I mean, the guy's got the funny little hat and he's like turning behind to see if anyone's going to catch up, and he's like running off with the swords. So it depicts the it depicts the head of Saudi Arabia as having walked off with some stuff. What do you think he walked off with? I think he walked off with intelligence on Saudi Arabia and the Middle East, and probably wanting to know just how much information we had on the Saudis. It puts him in a really powerful position financially. Whatever he was able to attain, he gets a 9 of Pentacles. So it really smoothed out, and it was economically beneficial to Saudi Arabia. It's pretty obvious to see. You have the action and the reaction, financial wealth. The reaction from the United States, on one hand, it's to just let it go and not do anything. You know, you have here, at first, the United States does nothing. Should we even take it on with Saudi Arabia that this happened? But you do have an investigation taking place. You can see the feds in relation, which would be the 8th house. There's a hermit card, which would indicate that the Saudis are under investigation. But a 5 of Swords would also indicate that it doesn't go to the level of a prosecution. And I think the reason why is because the Saudis are thought to be strategic partners and allies, sort of, right? And we have an economic interest in them. We steal from our allies steal from us, but it's not the same as when somebody is stealing from us that we don't have theoretically a diplomatic relationship with. So the question is, do we let a sort of ally take the stuff? And for now, there's an awareness. Yeah, they took it. The Saudis have access to this information. How do we pursue it? Well, for now, I think we should just continue to monitor the situation. But the truth of the matter is we're probably not going to do much of anything. The hope and the fear is that the situation will escalate to violence. You don't want to transform the situation into war. You can see the war card, which is the Knight of Swords, death and transformation and warring. So that we don't want to be so angry about what's happened that we put ourselves in a situation where we're actually at war with people or cutting off or sanctioning people we once had a relationship that was economically beneficial to both of us, particularly now that we're looking at possibly peace in the Middle East after 50, 60 years of war, etc. So do we let it go? We know what you took. We get it. Whatever. We're letting it go. And you took stuff from us. We did. Okay. Let it go. Now it looks like the United States, we're going to be having some trips. It looks like diplomats in Saudi Arabia, possibly another trip by Biden to Saudi Arabia, or more actions in the Middle East regarding new contracts, new peace treaties, etc. So for the most part, the United States is going to let it go because of this need to have strategic partnership, peace, and diplomacy in the Middle East going forward. You can see the final outcome is the Three of Pentacles, which is a peace treaty card. They're really beaten up because these are my seniors. And you can see the trip here to the south. That trip flying over, which results in a peace treaty contract. You can see the Three of Pentacles. Very easy to read the cards. Biden's people are going to be flying back, and there's going to be more contracts going forward. And we chose not to punish the Saudis because it's we steal from them, they steal from us. But in the end, it's making a big deal about it is not going to help us internationally go forward. I know it's not what you want to hear, but that's how I would interpret it. People want to talk about it? People are like, no. Is it for the best to just let it go? I don't know. I don't know. I don't always understand the decisions our country makes about things like that. So I don't know. Something to think about. They're thinking, great, we're going to have a good relationship with Dubai. We're going to have a good relationship with Saudi Arabia in trade. They're going to have a peace treaty now, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Turkey, the United States, Israel. That's going to really solidify things down the road in terms of fear of Russia encroaching. So, we're going to let it go. We know what you got, but okay, so Karen Pooler wants to know about the future of Syria. I mean, talk about a war that never ends. How long has this been going on? 13 years or more? The future of, I'm glad you guys are asking more international questions, by the way, because we tend to do too much American stuff. And so we do have people from all over the world. It's important to, check other parts of the world. So the future of Syria and the Assad regime is, the Assad's people have been there for a very long time, since the 60s. It's a lot of bloodshed and a lot of death. That the problem is Russia's there, and one of the ways that Russia fights is through chaos, confusion. It's just chaos, confusion. People are acting crazy. That's how it feels to me in this energy. The first feeling I have about Syria and Syria's future, Syria has always been a tough place, but you can see here it enters with the grief card. And that's because many people died. There was war, there was famine, whole entire villages were lost. And you can see that it starts with this Five of Pentacles card, which is denoting grief. communities are trying to rebuild. They're trying to create some kind of infrastructure. You can see the others, Six of Pentacles, Six of Swords, excuse me, which would be an attempt to smooth waters and take people to a safe location, or an attempt to have the situation be resolved. Look, there's deep concerns about poverty and famine still in Syria, Yemen, and other countries that have been displaced by war. We can see this fear of poverty and exile. Of course, it's exile. They can't return home. We have Syrian refugees in Europe. And so, of course, they pull the exile and poverty card. And then the final outcome is continued strife. And I think it has to do with Syria's relationship with Iran and Russia, just continuing to create war. Russia is just creating war, violence, tension everywhere it goes. There's a new does Assad have a son? Is he stepping down and giving it to his son? I'm seeing potentially new leadership, somebody who's a little bit nicer than the current leadership. You can see here there's going to be attempts at reaching across the aisle in Syria, which could indicate some kind of temporary treaty with the West, the United States, Israel, etc., with a lover card. Also, we're seeing this other coming in gently. The King of Cups, possibly that could be Biden. And then the hopes and fears, a new partnership to end the poverty. And it's also an importing and exporting card. Possibly because they're trying to get grain, etc., into these areas, and Russia's trying to open up trade in grain. Of course, Two of Wands we do interpret as an export-importing card, and it is here in the hopes and fears for Syria. People who do not get along will come together and work to create a viable infrastructure in Syria. That is the final outcome because it's what's best for everyone. So the final outcome over Syria is that they become kind of a cosmopolitan hub, multicultural, with a willingness to tolerate each other because it's what's best for the country. And the diversity is protected with Archangel Michael coming, the sword of truth. So eventually they become a functional society, but also Assad's being replaced by the King of Cups. So that would lead me to think that there's a more gentle energy coming in the future. Well, Karen, I think that Russia creates chaos because chaos is a type of jujitsu. It's a type of, you can't fight if you don't know what you're fighting. So you wind up in a state of confusion when you're dealing with bots and everything else. And so it's just a way of just weakening your opponent. It's like when Johnny Depp hired he hired a Russian troll for a Russian. Well, he hired a foreign lobbyist who worked for Putin to create a mass disinformation campaign. But then when I did a remote viewing a couple days ago, Johnny Depp didn't want to pay the Russian. He didn't want to pay the Russian operative anymore. What is his name? Adam Waldman. Because because everybody found out. Because, well, remote viewers, we're such terrible people. Remote viewers went in and said, hey, this is a Russian troll farm. And then once everybody knew that that's what Johnny Depp had done, it didn't work anymore because everybody just started saying, bot, and you paid this guy $8 an hour. And then people started telling the truth. Well, I got $8, I got $10. So then Johnny Depp fired the guy. So now the guy is declaring war on Johnny Depp. So those of us who watch these bots and it's like with Twitter, they said something like 25% of the accounts on Twitter are just paid bots. So you're often arguing with just troll farms, and that can be chaos. It's just the world we live in now, a lot of it's just trolls and bots, and you don't even know if you're talking to a computer or a person. And then you hire somebody to do this, which is what happened to Johnny Depp, and then you don't pay them because they're making things worse. And then what do? They blackmail you, which is probably what also happened to Trump to some extent. And so now they're going after Johnny Depp. So the people that he hired are now coming after him, right? It's the wild, wild west. If you decide to do business with these people, you don't know what you're going to get. All right. So Pam wants to know about the future of the Palestinians. Let's take a look. Some of the best looking people in the world and the best food. I don't know why anybody would want to argue with anybody in that part of the world. Everybody is good looking and good food. We should be making love to one another. I'm Israeli and I want to volunteer my services. Yes, I'm an Israeli citizen, and I feel that it is my personal responsibility to help create peace in the Middle East, which is why I personally handed out my phone number quite a bit. I was there. Yes. A lot of cute boys. I would go to these peace rallies, get into passionate arguments with people. Yes. Being an activist in your 20s is a lot of fun because you have these passionate love affairs with people and you're arguing. And at the time, it all seems so intense, living in Jerusalem and falling in love with all these people. You were having political arguments. Everybody was having affairs. And now I look back and I say, well, that's what being young is about. You think, well, I'm going to go give Ahmed my phone number and we're going to have a political discussion. Yeah, but that's young people, right? We're all so passionate and we have all these opinions. And I don't know. Yeah. Jerusalem, I was there for almost 7 years, Jerusalem. A lot of passion. A lot of passion. Okay, Palestinians. Oh, a new contract. Well, you guys all know what my solution was, right? The United States of Israel, Palestine. I was joking with some of my friends that were Palestinian, and I was saying, well, we have to create a United States of Israel, Palestine with multiple states and a federal. And they said, you're right. We agree. One state, one solution, or a United States. But then my Palestinian friends, I was saying, yeah, it'll be Israel, Palestine, the United States of Israel and Palestine with a constitution so that we don't blow each other up. And my Palestinian friends say, no, it has to be the United States of Palestine, Israel. I said, no, United States of Israel, Palestine. They're like, okay, we'll toss a shekel, right? Eventually what happens is a treaty of the territories. So you have a treaty. So you have different nations, and these different nations all agree to the UN and Israel and the Palestinian territories will all come together and create a territorial laws. Everybody gets to vote. And we don't get to vote on every single thing, but on issues regarding the safety of the territories. And that is the new contract. A lot of people didn't want to do it. This is probably going to be happening in the next few years. A lot of people didn't want to do it. We don't want to be America. It's not about being America. It's about, I don't have to agree with your opinion when I'm shopping in Gaza and you have your way and I have my way, but we are all part of the United States of Israel, Palestine, and Israel. So we have to respect each other and sell to one another and do business with one another because we are ultimately part of this community. And so that's what happens. Confusion. I think people's response about what's this going to look like. Are we going to lose power in my area or my governorship? And of course, the answer is no. This is not about you not having control. This is about a higher ethos so that we can stop the crazy. And we don't have to all agree. But I think it's initially met with suspicion. the hopes and fear that it will be good for all of us. It's we're going to like no war zones, because it's a division of the territories treaty. It's ultimately for the best, the higher truth. It's kind of what has happened. It's some version of this has happened in other places, whether it's the United States or Britain. When Britain absorbed parts of certain areas, there was warring, and then eventually it just has to become a commonwealth, but people have to have their own individual freedoms, and that seems to be how it is resolved in Israel and Palestine. Yeah, we work it out. You can't divide people up forever, because people fall in love, they get on with their lives, they get married, they have children, and the men are cute. And yeah, I mean, it's well, South Africa is another example, right? You had Soweto, which, everything was so divided, and then eventually, one by one, it just has to break down because it's not feasible going forward. Yeah. And some version of that has happened in human history for centuries. When you think about the Eskimos, it was actually multiple tribes, and they didn't get along for thousands of years, and then eventually they kind of just had to put up with each other. You had the Inuit, and then you had this community, and you had that community. People find a way to make it work. All right, that was fun. Y'all have fun today? It was a good little get together. So what's everybody going to be doing with the rest of your day? Anybody have any nice plans? Anybody going to be going out, working in the garden? It'll be a fun day. Yeah. All right. Love and light to everybody. If you are trying to get in for a reading with me, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. If you need a Wizio 5-minute quickie, that information is below the video. If you need to see me as a doctor, I do that too occasionally. I do telemedicine coaching, and yeah, you can put that. You can find that information by going to drwhimsy.com. Be well, everybody, and the Booksy information for booking a telephone reading. Debbie, thank you. It's just put up there. Debbie's amazing about that. Looks like most of you are going to be taking naps. I've got a bunch of you saying that you're going to just go take a nap. Take a nap. I think that's everything I have. All right. Be well, everybody. This was so much fun. I'll see you guys next time. Be sure and support the other readers, okay? Thank you, Terry. It's always great to see you. All right. Bye, everyone.